the way we set up the camera stand on top of the laptop. Anyways.
Yeah. So, Marat, move in. We'll do this to try to fit into Instagram camera too.
Just a little fun. We're creating a heart.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Coming on live earlier today. It's a pretty hectic, busy Sunday for us. So we decided, typically we do it at 1 o'clock, but
That's
we're coming
right.
on at 8:30 in the morning.
But through the power of social media and recording, this will be shared over and over. So for those that can't catch the morning show,
Yep, you can always catch it in the afternoon
well,
on
you
the
can catch it at
replay.
any time. in the replay. So today we're talking about overwhelm and negative talk, self-negative talk, and how to quiet that throughout your goals and the things that you want to achieve on a daily basis. All right, it's not always easy because our brain tends to go to the negative side all the time, but we have to learn not to kick ourselves when we're down, so to speak.
Yeah.
We're all trying very hard to achieve goals. Those takes daily steps, and there's small daily steps that will create the bigger goals at the end. And if we're knocking ourselves down every single day, we are really taking 2 steps back for 1 step forward.
Yeah, it's not gonna let us move ahead. And in a plan ahead part, when you setting up those goals, is definitely be specific, right? You want to be specific as possible to those goals. Let it be all the way to the dot of like, I want to do this at this time and complete it by this time. This is more achievable and it's definitely more committed.
Mm-hmm. So planning ahead is very important,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. It allows you to commit to the goals that you set because having them in your head, you're not committing to anything. Like our brains have so much going on. Having a to-do list in your brain is not helpful because your brain is distracted every split second. So write it out, post it, do posters, do sticky notes, right? But plan ahead and commit to that.
Right. And I think often we interfere with our own goals. You know,
Yes.
we don't achieve something and we tend to find ways to blame everybody else because...
And yourself.
And yourself,
Yeah.
but we feel guilty that we can't achieve something. So rather than pointing the fingers at ourselves and say, I could do better, we tend to blame somebody else all the time.
Yeah.
And so we find ways to interfere with our own success. And that's something that, you know, Ella and I have worked through and continue to work through. And as we're working through it, we want to share that with you.
Yeah, and interference come in so many different ways, you guys. One of the interference that we experience is procrastination, and we don't think about it, but it's one of the biggest thing that become as an interference. I call it it's buffering, right? Like you procrastinate, you find a whole bunch of excuses to not to do things that you're committed to doing, right? Why do we procrastinate?
Because we tend to not be comfortable or confident in our own actions.
That's so true.
In the tools that we have, we don't feel like it's enough for us to achieve something. And I think we end up self-sabotaging the things that we want to achieve in our goals in our future.
Very true. And also self-doubt, right? Like many times we'll do, if we experience something in the past that's already kind of set us backwards one or more times, then we naturally are going to say the procrastination is going to kick in. We're going to buffer. We're going to do a whole bunch of things. We're going to say, yeah. And the self-doubt is going to go in and just kind of like nag. And you say, well, it's good I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing or committing because I'm not going anywhere with this anyway.
Right. And are we aware of our thoughts, right? How often do we take time throughout the day to sort of stop and think, what is the patterns of our thoughts, right? If throughout the day you're self-sabotaging yourself and saying, I can't, or you're open yourself up to other people's criticisms and you really take it to heart, everything that somebody says, and those things are stopping you cold in your tracks, are you stopping to think, am I self-sabotaging myself by taking in everybody's disappointment of me? Am I thinking about why am I self-sabotaging myself every step of the way? So it's important to take lots of time throughout the day. Just take a little time to think, what is my thought pattern? Where am I going? Is this a consistent thought pattern that's keeping me from achieving my goals?
Absolutely.
And I think if you're conscious about thinking about those things, really thinking about your own thought pattern. I think we have so many thoughts throughout the day, and they're just consistent, and they're fast, and we're never really taking the time to meditate on them. What is
No,
it?
we don't. Yeah, we tend to be scared because we don't want to meditate on the negative things. But it all comes down to this urges that you and I talk about. Allow yourself to go them for those urges to go through the body, and if it means you meditating on them and you asking yourself, why is it happening to me? You have the right to ask.
Right.
Absolutely, you have the right to ask. And also, when you do that, then you choose to take control of your emotions. And that is something we're not naturally programmed to do.
Right.
So when you take control of your emotions, then you can say, okay, that emotion is going to go to this box. It's completely irrelevant. This emotions I'm going to work on. This emotions, those are not mine. Somebody's giving them to me. So why am I going to absorb somebody else's emotion to bring into my emotion? So out the door.
Right. And you don't allow your past to control your future.
Absolutely.
You're rewriting your future now,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So taking control of your emotions and choosing to take control of your emotions is a tool that you have,
Yes.
right? It's very different than being on autopilot and letting your emotions take over you and creating that overwhelm, but rather that you are taking control of your emotions, and that's what that daily sort of minutes of meditation to think
Yes.
about what your thoughts
Yeah.
are. You're taking back your emotions, and
Yeah,
you're not
you're-
letting them run
you're-
amok throughout the day.
Absolutely. And setting intentions for the day, right?
Using that as a tool.
Use it as a tool. Use it in the morning. Or if your mornings are hectically busy, and we're speaking to a lot of parents like us whose mornings are hectically busy, we have changed our mornings completely. And let me tell you, it takes you to change that morning routine. We are the ones who looked at our mornings and realized we wake up, we run, we prep, we do, and we out the door, and we have not a single minute to breathe. We haven't even registered that we walk up. We just go, and then you go at work, and then you go at home on the way back, and then you come back, and you're just in this go mode. So we looked at our schedule and said, great, if we go to bed at this time and we wake up at this time, we will allow this so much time to have for ourselves. And we wake up, we are 5 a.m. club, so we do wake up at 5. And let me tell you, it was hard. We started last year, February, exactly a year ago. It was super hard.
Okay, it's not always perfect.
No, it's
right?
not.
It's not.
We
It's not
had
always
ups and
consistent. We're
downs.
doing our best. 5:30. But the important thing is that you jump right back into it. You don't kick yourself when you're down. And if you can't stick to something over a couple of days, well, just
come back
just
to
come
that.
back to it.
And our intention is there and allows us to set the intentions for the day.
Right.
Even if you had 5 minutes or 5 seconds to write something, we take advantage of that.
That's right. Choose a word that you want to set your intention for.
Yeah.
Is it joy? Is it happiness? Is it focus? What is it that you want to set your intention for throughout the day? And this way, when you're meeting people and everybody wants something of you, at least you have an intention of how you want to deal with every interaction that you have throughout the day, right?
And remember, meeting people doesn't mean you have to take on their task. If somebody calls you throughout the day and says, I really need your help, you are allowed to evaluate that task, right? You need to see, is that a priority on my list? Or is that priority on my friend's list? Right? So you look at them both, and if it's not on your priority, you're not doing any favor to your friend by doing it for them, right? You can say to your friend, I am happy to help, but I have other things that I'm committed. I have set my day already. I do have a window between 5 and 6, let's say.
Right.
And if your friend declines that offer, that is not your fault.
So it's okay to be a bit selfish.
It's okay to be selfish. That's where intentions come, because you do them for you and how you want to structure your day.
Well, when people want things from you throughout the day, it's like they're drawing out of your bank throughout the day. And when you take some of that time back, you're adding to your own bank. and you're adding more energy and empowerment to say, I'm sorry, I can't help you at this time. Can we set a schedule? Can we talk a little bit later?
Yes.
Because everybody's going to want something from you, and that really creates an overwhelm because you have your own intentions that you've set throughout the day of the things you want to accomplish, but yet now you're being tripped up by everybody else that wants everything from you. So that's why it's really important that first, I go to the gym in the morning. It's not always perfect again. Sometimes I go in the evening, but I really try to go in the morning for the single reason is that first hour of the day belongs to me. After that, there's work commitments, there's family commitments, there's social commitments, there's all kinds of commitments, and everybody wants something of you. And when you have that first hour for the day to yourself, you're really replenishing your bank for your energy and your emotion, and it's very, very important. And I think that sets the tone for the day to lessen the potential of overwhelm for just the little things that could happen that could trip you up.
Absolutely. So set those intentions, get those thoughts very clear of what you're planning on doing. Remember that feelings drive our thoughts, and then our thoughts drive our results. So the feelings is equal to our action, meaning if we feel down and low and depleted, we tend to procrastinate, we tend to ignore, we tend to hide, definitely because of the thoughts like fear, I'm not good enough, self-doubt, all of this. And the results will speak for itself, because if your goal was to lose 20 pounds at the end of the road and you haven't done any of this, the thought that you had of a self-doubt will drive the results of you not doing what you were supposed to be doing, right?
And those negative thoughts could create a loop.
Yes.
And they'll just be tumbling around your head all day, and it could really trip you up for the things that you've set an intention for yourself first thing in the day. And sometimes it's something so little, like you could be driving and somebody cut you off, or somebody said one word to you, and just that one moment in time that has created this overwhelm throughout the whole day for you, and you've just created stress and everything. And when you think back, it was really that one moment in time where the rest of the day was fantastic. And one of the tools that Ella and I have in our family, we have a jar that we put just a mason jar, and then we put a little sticky notes next to it with a pen. And my kids and I and Ella, we really try to write one good thing that happened throughout the day. We put it into that mason jar because we tend to think that nothing good happened when one negative thing happened. And if we can just take that moment to think, what is that one good thing that happened throughout the day? I think we can remember that our life is really great, and it's the small little moments in time that we focus on, but generally our life is pretty great. And then, once a week we'll go through that jar and we'll read it out loud and we'll reminisce about the wonderful things that happened throughout the week.
And kids really love it too, because it's teaching them a great habit of being grateful and mindful of what really is going on in their world. And them being teenagers definitely has a big effect, because everything looks like things are coming down and breaking down every single split second. So yes, they're those little gratitude notes that we write on a daily basis, those are really, really helpful, and kind of let us summarize the days or the weeks that we go through and really say, oh yeah, that happened to me, that is amazing.
Right. So in closing, don't forget to don't give yourself negative self-talk. Try to put a positive spin on the way that you act on everything throughout the day. Don't kick yourself when you're down. Don't allow little things to overwhelm you and get you down, because you have wonderful things that happen for you and with you being around throughout the day. So don't let small little things trip you up. Remember, you're a wonderful person. Everybody loves you. You provide great contribution to this world, and it's important to remember that every single day.
Absolutely. So stay positive, have an amazing week, and we'll see you next Sunday.
All right. Have a good day, everybody.
Thanks. Have a good day. And here. Oh, here. You and... I'm gonna save.